One day back, there in good old days, when I was 9 and the wall was full of every imaginable kind of magnificence, and life was still a delightful and mysterious dream, my cousin Murad, who was considered crazy by everybody who knew him except me, came to my house at 4 in the morning and woke me up tapping on the window of my room.
Oh
Aram,
God, what is this?
it's not a dream, it's a horse. Make it quick if you want to ride.
I knew my cousin Murad enjoyed being alive more than anybody else who had ever fallen into the wall by mistake. But this was more even I could believe. In the first place, my earliest memories had been memories of horses, and my first longings had been longings to ride. This was the wonderful part. In the second place, we were poor. This was the part that wouldn't permit me to believe what I saw. We were poor. We had no money. Our whole tribe was poverty stricken. Every branch of the Garoglanian family was living in the most amazing and comical poverty in the world. Nobody could understand where we ever get money enough to keep us with food in our bellies. Not even the old man of the family. Most important of all, though we were famous for our honesty, we had been famous for our honesty for something like 11 centuries. Even when we had been the wealthiest family in what we liked to think was the world. We were proud first, honest next, and after that, we believed in right and wrong. None of us would take advantage of anybody in the world, let alone steal. Consequently, even though I could see the horse, so magnificent, even though I could smell it, so lovely, even though I could hear it braying, so exciting, I couldn't believe the horse had anything to do with my cousin Murad or with me or with any of the other member of our family, asleep or awake, because I knew my cousin Murad couldn't have bought the horse, and if he couldn't have bought it, he must have stolen it, and I refused to believe he had stolen it. No member of the Garoglanian family could be a thief. Murad, where did you steal this horse?
Leap out of the window if you want to ride.
Oh, it is true then. He had stolen the horse. There was no question about it. He had come to invite me to ride or not, as I chose. Well, it seemed to me stealing a horse for riding was not the same thing as stealing something else, such as money. For all I knew, maybe it wasn't stealing at all, if you were crazy about horses the way my cousin Murad and I were. It wasn't stealing. It wouldn't become stealing until we offered to sell the horse, which, of course, I knew we would never do. Let me put on some clothes.
All right, but hurry.
That year, we lived at the edge of town, on Walnut Avenue. Behind our house was the country, vineyards, orchards, irrigation ditches, and country roads. In less than 3 minutes, we were on Olive Avenue, and then the horse began to trot. The air was new and lovely to breathe. The feel of the horse running was wonderful. My cousin Murad, who was considered one of the craziest members of our family, began to sing. I mean, he began to roar. Every family has a crazy streak in it somewhere, and my cousin Murad was considered the natural descendant of the crazy streak in our tribe. Before him was our Uncle Khosrow, an enormous man with a powerful head of black hair and the largest moustache in the San Joaquin Valley. A man so furious in temper, so irritable, so impatient that he stopped anyone from talking by roaring, "It is no harm, pay no attention to it." That was all, no matter what anybody happened to be talking about. Once, it was his own son, Arak, running 8 blocks to the barber's shop, where his father was having his moustache trimmed to tell him their house was on fire. This man, Khosrow, sat up in the chair and roared, "It is no harm, pay no attention to it," the barber said. "But the boy says your house is on fire." So Khosrow roared, "Enough, it is no harm, I say." My cousin Murad was considered the natural descendant of this man, although Murad's father was Zorab, who was practical and nothing else. That's how it was in our tribe. A man could be the father of his son's flesh, but this didn't mean that he was also the father of his spirit. The distribution of the various kinds of spirit in our tribe had been, from the beginning, capricious and vagrant. We rode, and my cousin Murad sang. For all anybody knew, we were still in the old country where, at least according to some of our neighbors, we belonged. We let the horse run, as long as it felt like running. At last, my cousin Murad said,
Get down. I want to ride alone.
"Will you let me ride alone?"
This is up to the horse. Get down.
"The horse will let me ride."
We shall see. Don't forget that I have a way with a horse.
"Well, anyway, you have with a horse, I have also."
Let's hope so. Get down.
"All right, but remember, you have got to let me try to ride alone." "Now it's my turn to ride."
Okay, ride. What are you waiting for? We have got to take him back before everybody in the world is up and about. I'm not worried about you. We have got to get that horse. You go this way and I will go this way. If you come upon him, be kindly, I will be near. All right, jump on. The whole world is awake now.
"What will we do?"
Well, we will either take him back or hide him until tomorrow morning.
"Where will we hide him?"
I know a place. How long ago did you steal this horse? Who said anything about stealing a horse? Anyway, how long ago did you begin riding every morning? Not until this morning. Are you telling the truth? Of course not. But if you are found out, that's what you are to say. I don't want both of us to be liars. All you know is that we started riding this morning. All right.
He walked the horse quietly to the barn of a deserted vineyard, which at one time had been the pride of a farmer named Fekvezian. There were some oats and dry alfalfa in the barn. We began walking home.
It wasn't easy to get the horse to behave so nicely. At first, it wanted to run wild, but as I have told you, I have a way with a horse. I can get it to want to do anything I want it to do. Horses understand me. How do you do it? I have an understanding with a horse. Yes, but
But what sort of understanding?
a simple and honest one.
Well, I wish I knew how to reach an understanding like that with a horse.
You are still a small boy. When you get to be 13, you will know how to do it.
I went home and ate a hearty breakfast. That afternoon, my uncle Khosrow came to our house for coffee and cigarettes. He sat in the parlor, sipping and smoking and remembering the old country. Then another visitor arrived, a farmer named John Bairo, an Assyrian who, out of loneliness, had learned to speak Armenian. My mother brought the lonely visitor coffee and tobacco, and he rolled a cigarette and sipped and smoked. And then, at last, sighing sadly, he said,
My horse, which was stolen last month, is still gone. I cannot understand it. Hey, it's no harm. Pay no attention to it. What is the loss of a horse? Haven't we all lost the homeland? What is the crying of our horse?
That may be all right for you, a city dweller, to say. But what of my Surrey? What good is Surrey without a horse?
Pay no attention to it, I say.
I walked 10 miles to get here.
You have legs.
My legs pain me.
Pay no attention to it.
That horse costs me $60.
I spit on money.
He has a gentle heart. It is simply that he is homesick and such a large man.
What is it?
The farmer, John Byro. He visited our house. He wants his horse. You have had it a month. I want you to promise not to take it back until I learn to ride.
It will take a year to learn to ride.
We could keep the horse a year.
What? Are you inviting a member of the Garaglonian family to steal? The horse must go back to its true owner.
When?
In 6 months, at the latest.
Early every morning. For 2 weeks, my cousin Murad and I took the horse out of the barn of the deserted vineyard where we were hiding it and rode it. And every morning the horse, when it was my turn to ride alone, leaped over grapevines and small trees and threw me and ran away. Nevertheless, I hoped in time to learn to ride the way my cousin Murad rode.
Let me do the talking. I have a nice way with farmers. Good morning, John Byro.
Good morning, son of my friends. What is the name of your horse?
My heart.
A lovely name for a lovely horse. I could swear it is the horse that was stolen from me many weeks ago. May I look into its mouth? Tooth for tooth. I would swear it is my horse if I didn't know your parents. The fame of your family for honesty is well known to me. Yet the horse is the twin of my horse. A suspicious man would believe his eyes instead of his heart. Good day, my young friends. Early the following morning, we took the horse to John Byro's vineyard and put it in the barn. The dogs followed us around without making a noise. The dogs!
They would bark at somebody else, not at me. I have a way with dogs.
My cousin Morad put his arms around the horse, pressed his nose into the horse's nose, patted it, and then we went away. That afternoon, John Byro came to our house in his surrey and showed my mother the horse that had been stolen and returned. I don't know what to think. The horse is stronger than ever, better tempered too. I thank God. Quiet, man! Your horse has been returned. Pay no attention to it.